welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leandra the TBR Zero, and today I'm going to be revealing my April TBR. And no, I'm not playing my TBR game. I know that I've only done it for 2 months, but I'm already overwhelmed. I don't blame the game for that. I blame the fact that I have had 3 months in a row. The first 3 months in 2025 were heavy readathon months, and you just know for a fact that they end up making you throw your TBR out the window. Obviously in January I had TBR-athon, my own readathon. Then in February I did Get a Clue, which was so fun. But after that competitive readathon, I then jumped right into Realm-athon, which is also competitive. Both of them are super different, completely set up differently as well, but it still ends up just being a lot of weight on your shoulders. I was very fortunate to be a co-host for both of these readathons, and that adds a different layer to it as well. And I'm ready for a break. So that means in April, there's going to be no readathon I'm participating in. However, I will of course be making some room, making an exception for Relax and Readathon, because really it's only 24 hours and it's meant to have you relax and do some self-care. And of course it's hosted by Kirsten, the reading nymph, and she does a great job. So naturally I'm going to be doing that. Plus I missed it last time because of the illness that shall not be named, because I do not want it to run my life in 2025, even though those were dark days. I still am affected by it, but it's fine. Anywho, so no readathons in April, and also no TBR game in April. I think it could be a great precedent to set as well, that every 3 months I then have a month where I reset, try to handle my priority reads, maybe catch up on books I didn't end up getting to, because I do have a few of those. In January there was one pesky book that I still haven't read that was on my January TBR. I think for February there were 2 or 3 that I still haven't gotten to, and then March, we're not going to talk about March. Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit. So right now, as I'm recording, it is the 18th of March. I'm allowing you a peek behind the green curtain that is recording and planning one schedule. This is way earlier than I typically record because I'm usually last minute. And there are, buddy reads, book club reads that still need to be set up. So sometimes I don't have my TBR planned until like the last week of the month, but I feel pretty confident. And if you're watching, and you know for a fact that you are meant to be buddy reading with me in April, and I don't have the book on the list, that's probably error. That's my fault. This is the year where I'm saying yes to all of the buddy reads. I probably shouldn't, or if I do, I should push them further, and I'm trying to get better about that. But yeah, in March, I already have so many buddy reads that is going out the wazoo, and I'm still afraid that I've forgotten one for March as it is. I have 10 books that I know I'll be starting or continuing for the rest of the month in March. And like I said, we only have 12 days left. What am I doing? Hence the reset for April. I'm gonna use it as a reset month because I need it, because I'm insane. So on that note, I'm just gonna be going through all of the really exciting reads I have, and I'm challenging myself. So even though I'm not doing my TBR game, there are some challenging reads. There's also some books that are gonna be added to like 2025 goals that I am trying to move forward in, and I'm really, really excited about them. A handful of them are actually repeat authors, which is unheard of. I think 2025 is also a year where you'll be seeing a lot more of me returning to authors, because I'm historically known for like 75 to 80% of the books I read every year are new to me authors, but this year it's been 50-50-ish. What? Seriously, I think I'm a new Leandra this 2025. But you know what will never change are my long intros. So let's actually get into the books I plan on reading. I have a little post-it note here too. I think that was my goal, to make me have a smaller TBR. And you know what? I just ended up writing smaller, so it didn't help. The first book that I'm hoping to tackle is actually The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. This is a classic hard-boiled detective fiction from the 20th century, and I'm really excited because I've been meaning to try this author out. I really haven't been delving into American detective fiction very much this year, specifically hard-boiled variety, and I realized last year that certain authors can totally vibe with me. I think that sometimes it doesn't work for me because it's usually a bit edgier, darker tones, of corruption, urban settings as well, compared to the British Golden Age variety, which is often country house mysteries, often very enclosed and kind of cozy in the fact that they don't cover darker topics at least on purpose. Sometimes they do anyway, and you're like, ugh, Usually that's because it didn't age well. But I'm really excited for this one, especially because it was voted on by my manor. So we are going to be reading this for Only Murders in the Book Club. It'll be for suspects, witnesses, and sleuths. And this is going to be the first time we are reading a classic. Every other time I have different themes, and I decided to go with kind of oldie but a goodie. I gave some options, like a historical mystery. I gave them this, and I gave a Victorian mystery, if I'm remembering correctly, and they decided to go with the middle option. And it's going to be short. It's going to be probably pretty fast paced, and I have a really fun edition. Like, it's actually pretty big, but that just means that the words are larger, and so I probably will feel like I'm reading it faster than I am. So yeah, a classic that has been on my list for far too long, and I'll be able to get it off of my physical TBR, which is great. My next book is also thanks to the manor. Every single month they get to vote on one of the books I add to my TBR, and this one is my fault. I definitely went out on a limb, challenging myself, as I said, and I decided to go for aiming high April. And so my interpretation of that was adding 3 books to the voting poll that are my largest on my TBR. I think I offered 1Q84. I also had Pillars of the Earth on there. And then I had the winner, which is Middlemarch by George Eliot. I don't know why, but I really have been determined to read that this year. Like, I really, really want to read this book. I want to finally try it. I'm also just opening myself up to more classics that are non-mysteries. So Maltese Falcon doesn't count because I read a lot of classic mysteries. Whereas this month I already started Rebecca. I'm reading that with Victoria Masters, and we're having some really interesting discussions. So it just feels as though I've been talking the talk for too long, but not walking the walk about actually going back and, you know, just delving in a little bit to classics. And I think Middlemarch will be a really interesting additional classic to add to my 2025 TBR. So yeah, it's really chunky. I'm really scared. It is a mammoth, and I don't think I've read maybe 1 or 2 mammoth books in my day. And that means that it's over 800 pages. And this one, yeah, it's honestly nearly 900. So this is going to be one that I piecemeal throughout the month. At least I should, as long as I don't procrastinate. I don't know anything about this classic. All I know is that George Eliot was a really fascinating person, and one of my friends is obsessed with her, and so I know quite a few like historical facts about her, but that's about it. I don't really know anything about her writing, and I want to keep it that way. So if you need to know more about Middlemarch, you're not getting it from me until I read this book. Then I have a string of anticipated reads that are also continuations of a series, 3 of them to be exact, and all 3 of them are also planned buddy reads. I'm so excited. It's going to be so fun. And this is where we're getting into the idea of me returning to authors that I have read in the past, and now I'm continuing to support them, which I'm really excited about. Honestly, the 1st of April is just popping. Like, there are so many anticipated reads coming out from like the 1st of April to the 8th. And I don't know. Honestly, this might be like my new Christmas because I'm so excited. The first book that I'll definitely be diving into is Holy Terrors by Margaret Owen. This is because I have a continued read along with Margaret the Word Nerd. It's the 3rd and final installment in the Little Thieves series. We've been reading Little Thieves last month, then this month we are reading Painted Devils, and now it's finally time for us to get excited for this book that we've been waiting for so long for, and I have way too high hopes for, but I also trust Margaret Owen because she is so good. If you don't know anything about this series, the first book, Little Thieves, is inspired from The Goose Girl. Vanya, our main character, is the maid from that original Grimm's fairy tale, and it's so thoughtful. It's amazing. It's honestly a really intricate, fantastical world, and has such great character building throughout the series. So intricate, so impressive. That's all I'll say. And naturally, there is time to join the read along. There's always time to join the read along, so I'll have the announcement video linked below, and yeah, you can join the fun. If you didn't already know, because I've mentioned it so many times this month, we also have Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner coming out, another final book in a trilogy, another fantasy that I eat up and I'm so excited for. It's the 3rd book in the Fallen Gods series. So the first one was Godkiller, then we had Sunbringer, and now we finally have Faithbreaker. And I'm going to be buddy reading this with Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading and Julie from Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. The 3 of us are just obsessed with this series, and we can't wait to see what happens, because we feel pretty confident it's going to start off right where Sunbringer ended, and there's a lot to unpack. And again, so much has happened that there is the question of, how is this series going to end? How is this author going to wrap it all up? But I think Hannah Kaner, like Margaret Owen, is an author I've gained to trust, and I know that she's going to do a great job. My final anticipated read for April that I also will be buddy reading is Last Chance to Save the World. This is also the third in a trilogy, so it'll be wrapping up. I'm going to be finishing 3 series in April. That just clicked. That's crazy. What a crazy theme for this TBR planning, but I will be buddy reading that with Sam from Sam's Reading Corner. This is the 3rd and final book in Beth Revis's Chaotic Orbit series. It's a trilogy that is all novellas, and it's a romantic heist, slow burn, so fun, Ocean's 11-esque, and I'm really excited for this too, and I'm crossing my fingers that I can get the audio, because I've had a really great time with the past 2 audiobooks. Even though I did read the second one physically, I ended up deciding to immersion read it halfway through because I was like, what am I doing? I should not deprive myself of an audiobook that I'm loving. And so yeah, I'm really excited for that one too. And I think that one comes out on the 8th of April. So we'll probably be reading that as soon as we both have access to it. So yeah, Sam, I can't wait. This next one, I fear I'm gonna have to read in April, mainly because I have so many books I'm already reading in March that I must finish by the end of the month, and also I just don't have access to this book yet, and the number of weeks it says I'm on hold for, I imagine it's gonna have to be an April read. It's just that adds to the excitement, but also the stress of getting it done before the deadline, and that is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. This is a book that everyone's been loving. It's a dark academia fantasy, and I am reading it for the 2nd installment in a collaboration I'm doing with 3 other booktubers, where we cannot stop this project until all 4 of us agree and give a book 5 stars. That is not meaning one of us can give it 4.5 and it rounds up. No, it has to be a pure 5 star for all 4 of us. And the first installment was with Ace of Spades. Spoiler, because we're doing it again. Obviously that didn't go well, but it still was a really fun video for me to actually edit and put on my channel. So if you're interested, I'll have that linked below, but honestly, check it out. It was a really fun video, and I did it with Rainey, Kelsey, and Brittany. We had a great time, and we are looking forward to Blood Over Brighthaven. If you have any guesses, knowing myself and the other 3, we are collecting them as far as if you predict this will be the 5 star of all 5 stars for the 4 of us, or if you think 1 or 2 of us will just not vibe with it or think it's not 5 star material. So yeah, if you want to leave those predictions down below, you totally can, or go over Watch Ace of Spades, because we're collecting predictions from there as well. But yeah, basically I have a 7-week wait for that one, and I know it's going to come in earlier than that. I'm predicting like 3 weeks. However, that just obviously means it's going to have to be an April read, and then I'm just going to be dedicating my life to it for however long it takes me to finish that book, so that Rainey has my footage in time, because I would hate to make her feel stressed, because it is a process. You have to collect not only your footage, but 3 other people's, sift through it, and then figure out how you want to edit it for the public. It was an interesting experience, and by knowing how much work it was, that's why I don't want to be the person that is last to giving her my vlog. I totally could have organized this better, because I mentioned Only Murders in the Book Club for the Manor, like the first book in this video, and now I've got 2 other book clubs to mention, but it's fine, whatever, you know, hindsight is 2020. So the next book club I'm going to mention is the She Done It Book Club. I work for this podcast, and every single month our members get a book that they get to read, and we have to stay a month ahead, which kind of is expected, because then they get content from us as we discuss with full spoilers. It's super fun. But for the month of May, we are reading, I think it's wartime themed, because we have a theme every single month, but what was ended up voted for by the She Done It members is Murder by Matchlight by E.C.R. Lorak. I have read 1 book by this author before, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was the best of the best, but I do want to try more by this author, because she wrote so much. Like, it's interesting how lesser known she was for a time before the British Library Crime Classics series ended up really publishing so many of her works in the last, like 5-ish years, 10 years, that, yeah, I'm really impressed that she just kept at it and kept writing, and now I want to delve into her writing more, because she was a part of the British Golden Age writers, and I think that'll be really fascinating, and everyone was so excited about this title. So Murder by Matchlight, I'll be reading that, and again, I'm going in kind of blind because I kind of want to, but I am looking forward to it. And then the final book club that I have to read for, at least I'm hoping it's the final book club I have to read for. If I forgot something, Oh my gosh, I'm doing too much. But this book club is not reading for content. It's a podcast that I host with Danny Devils. And honestly, this read marks a very exciting transition for us in this podcast because we started it January 2025 and we've just closed, at least the recording of our first season. So from January to April, season 1 was highlighting genre blends. Every single month we read a different genre blend. And now that we're entering May, but again, we have to read a month ahead of time to record, we are starting season 2, which is translations. And for May, we are reading this book in April, and it's going to be Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. This is a very well-loved middle grade fantasy that was translated from German, and so Danny and I, of course, are going to read it in April and have the episodes airing every Friday in May. If you want to check out that book, read it with us, or see what you missed as far as our genre blend season, I'll have all of the information linked below so you can check that out too. Really, every other book that I plan on reading is going to be catch-up or for Battle of the Booktuber, if I'm going to be completely honest. I need to make sure that I read all of the books for that competition because July is far away, but with every passing month, it is closer because that's how time works. And I am getting stressed because I didn't read any books in February and I don't really see myself getting any done in March. And I'm starting to feel stressed. So that's why I'm keeping this TBR for April quite small. The only book that I am allowing to be added to my April TBR that isn't necessary, but I'm super excited about, is Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. Everyone is loving this book, and I am dying to read it. It has been one of my anticipated reads for 2025 for quite some time, but it's even more so now that I finally read my first book by Okorafor. So back in February, I ended up reading Remote Control, and I ate it up. I loved it so much, and I'm so excited, even more so now, to read Death of the Author. Brittany told me that a few people have already said that it's been their best book of the year so far, and so that is just, it's getting me really hyped, and I've already had to push my hold to April because I knew I wouldn't get to it in March, and so I'm like, that's the one exception. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. Let me know if any of these books are on your TBRs or if you're participating in any of the many events that I've listed, and also, yeah, let me know if you're excited for April, what you're most excited for. And also, if you're participating in readathons in April, let me know what they are. Because even though I'm restricting myself and saying, no, Leandra, you really can't go there for a 4th month in a row, I'm still nosy and I still want to know what everyone else is doing in this community. If you got to the end and you don't really know what else to say, if you've got nothing else to say or respond and you've just been kind of hanging out, then maybe in honor of Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor, send me good vibes and provide any type of emoji that is involved with reading or writing. Yeah, maybe writing. That would be really fun, you know, in honor of the author that is Okorafor, but also the author that is in the title. Thank you so much to my manor guests, to my sleuths, my witnesses, my suspects, and my corpses. You all are honestly so chill. Thank you for being so chill as I organize my life, organize the manor, and I really appreciate you because we are coming on my 1-year anniversary for the Patreon in just a few months, and I'm just really grateful because I think a year from now I would never have expected how wonderful our community is and how like lush our own ideas are, everything we've accomplished, everything we've done. And also April is our TBR spring cleaning, our private manor event for witnesses and sleuths, and I think that's going to be a ball too. So there's a lot to get excited for April, hence why I don't want to bog myself down with anything else because my life is already full. My life is already so full, and I'm so grateful for it that I don't need to add anything else to April because I know it's already going to be great. So anyways, getting mushy. I always do that with like reset videos because I just start reflecting, and I just appreciate you all so much. So thank you. If you ended up missing my TBR game and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll have that linked here so you can see what it would entail, and then maybe check it out in May when I bring it back. Thank you all so much and have a great day. Hydrate. See you next time. Bye.